or welcome back to my channel. Today we are scrapbooking Brianna S'mores, and it is her subscriber celebration for My Life on Paper. She's made it to 1,000! Yay! So this is the lift that I'm going to do for Brianna, and it'll come back up on the top here. She is My Life on Paper, and we are doing a special May I Scrap Lift You hop for her. So there'll be links below, so make sure you go check out all of the creatives that are celebrating Brianna and her wonderful milestone. And yeah, I'm so excited to do this one today. So she's got some mixed media on the background. She did an ink pad and just smooshed it across in 2 colors. Her other challenge for us was to do a monochromatic layout, and I am gonna try. I totally am gonna try. It doesn't happen, but I am actually gonna try. So I'm doing 2 swipes of the green. I pulled out other greens because I thought maybe I'd do 2 different greens, but I like the way that looked. So I am scrapbooking these photos of my oldest and her friend today. They were at the Okotoks International Film Festival and won the youth, and they entered into the Calgary International Film Festival, and they didn't place in Calgary, but they were shown in Calgary, which is still a big deal because they had one chosen, and there were definitely films that were not chosen to be shown, so that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to back this 49 in Market film strip with some photos, and so that's going to be that long vertical piece on Brianna's layout, but I'm going to use the 49 in Market film strip instead of the cardstock she's got. And so she has no pattern paper on her page, and I'm going to do the same thing. I actually really like creating without pattern paper. So yeah, I haven't done it for a little while, but I do like to at least once a month do something that is mostly mixed media and some embellishment and no pattern paper. So I did leave in backing this first one, and then I am going to take the rest of them out because it is the same process and it gets a little tedious. And then I do have this larger picture of my daughter and her friend, and yeah, I'm just going to make this one won't fit in the film strip, but I have 2 spots in the bottom that I'm going to use, and this is going to be the one that kind of sits sideways on Brianna's. Mine's just going to be a little bigger. So now I'm just going to actually put them in. So I cut them, and so now I'm going to put them in, and I'll show you a little bit, and then I'm going to pop forward again. So I literally just put a little bit of glue on there, and I held it, and I used a little bit of washi on one of them to hold it, and that's how I put those in. So, and then I'm going to back this bigger, longer one in black just to give it a little bit more oomph, and just scrap pieces. So that works out well, and I have almost the gist of what she's got going on already. So there's an embellishment at the top and bottom of this strip, which I'm going to do, and then at the upper left side, and a few word strips. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I have this 49 Market tickets. They're kind of a gray, but I was going to classify that as part of that neutral with the green. And then my plan was for these photos to use these watercolor cameras on the film festival ones just to tie them together, and I was like, oh, do I not, but I really want to, but do I not, because there will be other ones that go along with this, so it wouldn't have been huge that I didn't, but I totally am going to because I like them and it is what it is. So I'm looking for some different things to do for stamping. So I do want to do the title in stamping, so I pulled out this huge, super big alpha from close to my heart. Look how massive it is. It is awesome. I got it used, so the purple is actually not me. I've never actually used this one, and I'm totally going to use it today. So this is Calgary International Film Festival, and for short that's CIFF. And so I'm going to try out some different inks on a scrap piece of paper. I also wanted to make sure that purple wasn't going to pull up. I've had this for a while and I haven't used it, but I still wanted to double check. And that limey, that one's a pigment ink, and that one's too limey effervescent for me. So I'm going to try this more foresty one, and that I like. And that ties into the green that's on the film strip. And so I'm like, yep, totally going to do that one. And so about there. So I'm going to do the wrong one to start with, and I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to go over it with the one I want. Does it change the color a little bit? Probably. Does it really matter to me? Nope, doesn't matter to me. And then I'm going to put this on. I'm going to do the same thing now so that I get the same kind of color. And it is crooked, and I'm like, it's crooked. Do I worry about it? It's crooked. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna looking. Nope. I am going to try and see what is it worth doing this, because it literally is paper, and it took me 2 seconds to do the squishy thing, and it took me not very long to do the stamping. So I was like, okay, but I don't really like how now it's not as spread out as it was, and so I'm still gonna try and stamp. So C, the I, I'm gonna try the F, and one's okay. The second one is also crooked, and those F's didn't stamp as clear, and it would have worked, but I'm like, I am not gonna die on this hill. It's literally a piece of paper, and most people probably won't even notice that F after I get all this stuff on it. Like, my daughter didn't say anything, and she's very artistic. It's just like, Mom, I really like that page. So she didn't like the one of her dress yesterday, mostly because of her face. And there's one coming up tomorrow she's in that she's like, okay. But she'll like this one. So if she doesn't notice the crooked F, then I'm not going to worry about it. So I pulled out the Studio Calico set, and it's got lovely stars on it, and I like using these stars when I remember I have them. So I am going to put some of the pigment ink in this dark green in some different spots. Well, mostly in the spots where it has clusters on Brianna's. So there. And then I'm going to pull this itty bitty one and just do some around. The second generation one of that didn't work so well, but yeah, well, it is what it is. And then I'm pretty good when I'm using pigment ink of wiping my stamps off, because they stay wet for a long time. That's also why I'm doing my heat tool here, is to try to set this ink so it doesn't go everywhere. And so I'm going to do some 49 and market ticket pieces. So these are they've got a green tone to them, but they're grayish. Well, maybe sage. Like the bottom part of this film strip, they're about the same color as that. So maybe they're green. I don't know. They came in a green thing altogether. So I actually got them from MK Shop at Some Assemblage Required, and she puts together some things sometimes. So green, maybe green. I don't know. They kind of look green. I'm going to pull out this little one, and I'm going to do it in the same color as I did the swipes in. Excuse me. And sprinkle the stars around, because it works. And then these are some Ali Edwards word phrases, and it's from her light kit that she had. And so it says, shiny and bright, it's all stars with the spark. It all starts with a spark, sorry, and this is special. I was reading it sideways. And so this is special is the one I'm just moving, and this one, it all starts with a spark. I'm moving down. There we go. Done cutting it down, putting it on. And so those are kind of where she's got her 3 journaling strips. I don't really need too much journaling on this one, because I am going to do some other pages about this, and really the rest I add to the title here will basically explain it. So I'm writing Calgary International Film Festival underneath, and then I decide that that would work okay. And then I'm like, well, what would it look like across it? Because those are big, bold letters. So the Calgary International Film Festival across the middle there would probably work. So that's what I'm going to do. You get to see my head with some of my gray hair. And that works out okay. And then I decided to freehand youth film. And then it wasn't centered, so I added Calgary again. And oh well, whatever. A little repetitive. Yep, doesn't really matter. Nope. They're not even the greatest pictures because we were in the theater and the green lights were going, and so yeah, whatever. That's why I chose green, is because of the green hue on the picture. So I thought I'd just lean into that instead of being like, So here's where I'm trying to decide to not use those watercolor cameras. So I pull out this black one from Studio Calico and I stick it on. I'm like, eh. And then I'm like, well, I do want them in a couple spots if that's what I do. So, but I don't like the way it looks. I'm not happy with it. So, nope, that one's off. And then I am going to, there's no rules in scrapbooking. And why I was putting a rule on myself, if I like this, I know Brianna's not going to care that I didn't do a monochromatic layout. It's mostly monochromatic, so with a touch of color. So don't get mad at me. But yeah, that it is what it is. But I like this. I think it finishes the page way more than what I was trying to do. And it just ties it all together, and it'll tie her other pages for the film festivals together. So, because they actually had 3 that they got to be part of. So, Okotoks, Calgary, and then they were part of Paris, France's Women's International Film Festival, which is totally cool. I have no pictures for that because we definitely did not travel to Paris, but I will probably do like a little page and see if I can find like a YouTube post or like a website post or that kind of stuff with their stuff on it. But so I'll probably do like a 6x12 for that one. But I decided, yep, definitely these are going on, and I like it, and it's just is what it is. It makes me happy, and yeah. And then I did make a mess with some of the pigment ink down in the corner where it should be just white. So I'm going to add some water to my leftover pigment ink that's here. And I am going to do lots and lots and lots of splatters. And the lovely thing about pigment ink is sometimes the splatters stay darker and some of them stay lighter. And so you get a real depth of your splatter with only the one, which is awesome. I was really happy with that. And I'm using a pretty tiny paintbrush so that my splatters can stay quite fine because I didn't want really big splatters. And I should have grabbed my box to protect everything else, but I didn't. Oh well. That's what happens. Lots and lots and lots of splatters, and then I'm going to clean up my mess right away. Get those just tidied up a bit. And then I'm going to hit this with my heat gun because it's still pigmenting even if it has some water in it. And here's close-ups. Look at that lovely ink. I love the splatters. So fun. It was great scrap lifting Brianna today. Make sure you take a look at her and take a look at all of the other creatives that are playing along with her celebration. Hop, congratulations, Brianna, for your 1,000 subscribers. That's so awesome. I also do Scrap a Sketch with Brianna, so yay. And there it is all together. Thank you so much for watching today. Take a look at the list below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Don't forget to like. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.